Now I just need a giant cigarette to go with this. Getting changed at Grandad's today because a plumber's sorting out the pipe work at home, so couldn't shower there. To be honest, it's really handy having them that close. It means I can pop in and check on Grandad whenever I need to. Anyway, back to the workshop. Morning.
6:30 this morning and it's a bit far apart.
Oh, unless there's two.
It's funny as fuck. I knocked on the window, he jumped about 3 foot in the air.
Oh, right, because I was in my workshop last night at about 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I thought, right, let me lay a trap for this rat.
I reckon, because he was like in the middle of the car park, like where sort of me and Oscar park our cars. And it was just kind of wandering around there.
That fella there was my neighbour. He runs the bakery next door. Now, if he saw the rat running around outside at 6 a.m, it's not a great sign. Let's go find out if the rat is in my trap. Wah, wah, wah. Absolutely no dice. He's not even eaten any of the crisps, so after he gave me a fright yesterday, he must have just got out somewhere. Not really sure how, because all these walls all the way around is all brick. The only way in and out is through the plasterboard by the door, so very interesting. Well, that was very anticlimactic, but somehow I don't feel like this war is over. To be continued. It's actually kind of cold today. Check it out, I'm just trying to use these weights to really flatten my cutting mat, because somebody keeps on using it as an ironing board. And it worked a little bit. What do you think? These baseball caps are my favourite kind. They're the ones by Element, and they're the ones with the mesh backs, the trucker hats. I have a whole bunch. I have some Smithomatic ones, Element ones. I have different colours, but they normally end up getting paint or glue or dust. You can see how gross these look. And so if I want to look my best, I got to put on a new one to go out with. I bought 3, just stocking up. A buddy of mine needs me to design some grill shrouds for his catering business. Let's make some paper templates first. So this represents the fire surround, and this is going to be a foldable piece of metal, and the fire will be in here. But then this needs to be removed from the table at the end of the day. So we're going to have these clips, and it's going to be screwed down on this end. And if this piece on the angle is longer than this angle, and this is fixed, it will apply downward pressure like a spring. And then what can happen is this can slide underneath on this end, and that will grip it and hold it in place. And at the end of the day, it can just be slid out like this. Anyway, that's the plan. Okay, let's draw it up on the computer. So this is the net that my client needs to order. I've got it all labelled up for them so that the manufacturer knows what to do. Everything's labelled, and then once that's all folded, it should make this shape, like this. And there'll be a grill that goes here with an open flame underneath it, and this shroud just protects the open flame from the wind and also from children's fingers. I went to see Avengers Endgame at the cinema a few years ago, and I think we had one of the last showings because they were trying to get rid of all these Avengers Endgame posters. And so I took a whole stack of like, I think I had like 50 or so. And I took them because they're a really nice card, and it saves me using up nice card for just doing little mock-up jobs like this stuff. You can use this for free. Thank you. It's always a good idea to make it up in paper if you can. This is not exactly a complicated job, but it just means that you can reference this when you're drawing on the computer and you know you haven't got your net wrong. Okay, model making, specifically paper and card. A really useful thing to do if you're a designer. These are a few of the things that I had lying around on my desk. Sadly, most of it doesn't survive because it's made of paper. And what does survive tends to get pretty roughed up, at least in my workshop. Sorry, someone was texting me. Where was I? Oh yeah, model making. For me, model making is useful in kind of two primary ways. The first one is for you, it's for your own sanity. You can check things on paper before you have a go at the real life version. This is like a free practice run before you f it up when you're making stuff in like a 200-pound sheet of plywood. The second way that it's useful is if you're trying to demonstrate something to a client. You can make a model as complicated or as simple as you'd like, and hopefully if you've done a good job, that model will communicate to that person what the object is going to look like. It's also a good opportunity you can write on these things and make amendments and notes. There's loads of different kinds of model making, from the very, very simple to the very complex. You can be really, really scrappy, or you can use really quite nice sort of high precision materials. In this folder I keep all of my nicer sort of plastic cards, tracing papers, cardboards, model making card, that kind of thing. But most of the time, just using cardboard boxes, old cereal boxes and scrap card, perfectly fine. You can use paper and card to demonstrate lots of different kinds of things. For example, this model right here, I'm just filming on the phone. This is a really gross and scrappy model. It's just all hot glued together. But this one, I think this was a handle, and this is for demonstrating form factor. You can use models to test concepts and make sure that things are going to work in the way that you imagine that they will, or things fit together the way you anticipated. That's a model like this, for example, or the paper shroud and clip that I was just working on. You can use models to demonstrate concepts. This one, for example, is a little box of bokehs for camera lenses, and you can see I've used a combination of some nice model making card, which I've painted, and I've also used cereal boxes. I needed a smooth surface to make sure that these would slide together easily, and this was perfect. You can laser cut card and paper, so if you want to test that a logo is going to cut out the way you want it to, you can do that before you go and cut it out in, say, plywood. This is a model of a toolbox that I ended up making, and this was just to check the scale. It's also why I made this one as well. This was an iteration before this one. Origami is also useful, an underrated skill. This is a dragon egg, and I'm going to be using this for a lampshade that I want to work on. But I test first in A4 paper. After you finish making things in paper and card, you can move on to making more advanced models. This is a plywood model. This is a 1:1 scale of a teleprompter that I wanted to design. All the material thicknesses are accurate, the shape is accurate, and it's all just hot glued together. But the glue is mostly hidden. I wanted the model to be quite neat. But there's one more model that I almost forgot to show off. And it's probably one of the more interesting ones. So this is a more detailed model, using some nicer materials, and you can see that it's got all of the details of a clipper lighter, and this piece even moves. Obviously it won't strike a flame, but you can see all the internals are in there as well. The base, the shape, this is actually fluted slightly. It's a little bit beat up now, but I'm quite proud of this model. I've had to make a few repairs to it over the years where it's peeled up and fallen apart. A clipper lighter looks like this. You might have noticed it's nighttime, and that's because I actually went home and had like a really long nap in the evening, and then I came back for a few hours. I think it was at like 10:30, and I just did a bit of editing and then went back home again. So I have nothing else to show for this video. I did do some woodworking, but if I show woodworking every day, it's gonna bog down, right? So the woodworking I did today will probably be in tomorrow's episode. Just trying to space it out, you know? You know, I can hear that rat. He's in the ceiling above the office. I keep hearing him gnawing and tapping around. I don't want to have to resort to the old Good night. You know, I always check the videos back at the very end of the day, just to make sure I do one full watch through to make sure that the video is correct before I upload it. Hopefully try and catch anything that I've gone wrong with. But I was watching it back and look at the bags under my eyes. If you scroll back like 20 seconds and watch when I'm talking, this is unbelievable. I gotta get some more sleep, man.